Some of you guys have been asking for me to do a review video of the ARRMA Notorious 6S V5. That's exactly what we're going to be doing in today's video. I have the truck up on the bench. I've had it for a couple months now, and I've actually had years of experience with the platform. I used to have an Outcast before this. Whoop. And today I'm going to walk you guys through my experience with the truck, just my overall thoughts on it, and hopefully that'll help you determine whether or not to purchase one of these vehicles. So throughout the time I've had this truck, I've really tried to push it to its limit. I've done nearly 1,000-foot wheelie with the truck. I launched the thing as high as it could possibly go, did as many flips as I could. I definitely have been going hard on this thing. All of the new upgrades for the V5 version of this truck have been holding up really well. A lot of the parts I didn't even have issues with on my old Outcast. So the fact that they're stronger on this vehicle is even better. The body for both the Notorious and the Outcast, I mean, they hold up really well, whether you like the looks of them or not. There's this roll bar behind the cab that actually rests on the center diff of this truck, and it does a really good job of protecting the truck. Prevents some cracks, although it will start to crack towards the base of the roll bar. Another place I noticed where my Outcast body was cracking was right by the wing. It was actually right in front of it, basically the top of the tailgate. The cracks would start to work their way into the bed of the truck. That can be prevented with some drywall tape and shoe goo though. So overall, very durable body. The tires on this truck, they also hold up really well, and they get a ton of traction. I just like the added control that you get in the air with these tires. I ended up replacing the steering servo just because I didn't even want to chance it with the stock one. With my Kraton, I had the stock Spectrum servo burn out after just a few weeks of running it. I've also been running this truck on my Spectrum DX5 rugged transmitter. Besides that, the rest of the electronics are stock. The Spectrum Firma motor and ESC combo been holding up great. I haven't had any issues with it. The temps are pretty good on 6S. For the most part, it stays pretty cool. You can always go down a tooth or two on the pinion gear or just add cooling fans because those work really well too. With the ARRMA V5 trucks, there was an issue, and I actually had the issue with my Kraton where the receiver and actually the transmitter, they were losing connection. The range wasn't very good. I did not, however, have that issue with this receiver. So now I'm going to touch on the points where I feel this truck could actually be improved. First thing is the steering. Steering's pretty weak, and it's not because of the servo necessarily, it's because of the servo saver. I swapped out the stock Spectrum servo for a Savox SW1210SG servo, but the tires still aren't turning, and that's because of the never loose servo saver. That was a new part on the last version of this truck. They did carry it over to this V5, and you do lose a lot of steering with it. Not having the ability to adjust it means you can't tighten it. So it'd be great to see ARRMA either have a tighter never loose servo saver or just go back to the old adjustable one. Another thing I'd like to see revised is the front bumper of this truck. It's held in with 4 screws, 2 through the bottom that actually go into the bottom of the front diff housing, and then there's 2 that go through the front of the bumper into the hinge pin brace. Now after several hard hits, this bumper begins to bend back, and you end up bending the screws that go straight through the front, and since it starts to tilt, it rips out the other 2 screws holding the bumper in. I'd love to see him add 2 shims on the truck out of the box on that ring gear side of the diffs. Out of the box, the truck comes with 1 shim on the ring gear side of this truck in the front and rear. It really helps tighten up the gear mesh and prevent the ring and pinion from stripping out. They include the shims to do it out of the box, but I'd like to see him actually include it in the truck. And something else I'd like to see is a set of plastic skid plates on the bottom of this chassis out of the box. The last issue that I've run into quite a bit is actually having the pins within the diffs just snap. They're a pretty cheap material, and what I've done is I just chop up 2 or 2.5 millimeter hex wrenches, just the little Allen keys. I know a lot of other people chop their own pins out of drill bits is what some people use. It'd be nice to see ARRMA just include a better pin out of the box. So with these V5 ARRMAs, I've had quite a few people ask me what they should do to them out of the box before they even run the vehicle. And I do have a small list of things you should add and change and maybe even upgrade with the ARRMA V5 trucks out of the box. I would take a couple of the diff shims that are included and just add an extra one to the front and rear diffs of this truck on the ring gear side. I'd also add some Loctite on the set screw going into the pinion gear. On both of my V5 trucks, after a few runs, I had the set screw to the heavy pinion gear, just kind of back out. At least the safety technology though kept it from sliding back and forth on the actual motor. At least on the ARRMA Notorious V5, you might be able to add some preload to the rear shocks. I noticed that this truck squats quite a bit in the rear. I think that has to deal with the new suspension geometry. So that's all the stuff you guys can do with this truck out of the box for free. If you're looking to put a little money into it out of the box, some parts that I'd focus on, one would probably be the steering servo. Then another upgrade that's nice to have is a set of skid plates, and then some cooling fans and maybe even a heat sink for the motor is definitely something I'd recommend. It's not a mandatory upgrade, but it is something that's definitely nice to have so you don't have to worry about your motor temps as much. So the truck handles really well. Like I said, it loves to wheelie, it loves to flip. Truck's really fast. I have been running mine on the punch setting 9, which I think is the highest this truck can go. I just like having the immediate power. I feel that with the lower punch settings, it feels like there's more of a lag. A lot of people ask me if I prefer the Notorious over the Kraton, and the answer to that is simply yes. I love stunt trucks. I love, doing flips and tricks and wheelies, and this truck does them with ease. I guess my advice if you're looking to purchase this or a Kraton, I would say the Kraton's good for just an all-around basher. Still does backflips and wheelies and everything. It's just a little harder to do that. It's definitely easier to put the power to the ground with that vehicle, but with the Outcast and Notorious platform, just this short wheelbase stunt truck setup. If you love stunts, you're gonna love this truck. At times it's hard to keep all 4 tires on the ground, but I mean, for me, that's what I enjoy about driving these vehicles. Overall, everything has held up great on this truck. I really haven't had many issues with it. So there you guys have it. That's my review of the 2021 ARRMA Notorious 6S V5. Hope you guys found it informative, and I'll see you in the next one.